Hey guys, HaxerTech here for another video, and today I'm going to be talking about why I'm going to be returning my OnePlus 13. And I have to say this is actually a super difficult decision for me because I've had the device for about 3 days now, only 3 days, and I've been using it quite a bit. Really have been loving the device, and there's quite a few things here that actually made it very difficult for me to decide to return the device. Some of the things that I really liked, the performance is super smooth, buttery smooth. I actually really like the camera as well, coming from the Galaxy S23 Ultra. I found that motion capture, anything that is a moving object, I found it's much easier to take a picture on the OnePlus 13 versus my Galaxy S23 Ultra. So there's a lot of things that I really like, a lot of things within the UI that I like from the product, but in this video I'm going to be just talking about and focusing on the things that influenced my decision, what were some of the deal breakers. And I'm on this screen here just to show you that I am on Oxygen 15.0. You can see if I scroll down here, the specific version that I'm on. I can even go to the version here. And it is the OnePlus 13 device that I'm using. I've updated to the latest version, so there's no additional updates that are ready that would remedy any of these issues, and I've thoroughly researched them. But let's go ahead and just dive in. I'm going to go through all the things that influenced my decision to return this device. So these are my top issues so far. Now, some of these I'm going to just comment. They're not 100% deal breakers for everyone, and some of these issues are definitely things that can be at least addressed with a workaround. But again, these are the things that in some way influenced my decision, and some of these were definitely deal breakers. Now, this one was not a deal breaker for me, but just a comment on the AI features. There's two parts. I did make a video separately showing you how you can fix the issue where when you go ahead and click on one of these AI features, you can see here at the bottom there's an AI eraser feature, unblur, several different AI features. When I tried the AI eraser feature when I first got the device, I got an error message that said AI eraser failed. So what I had to do is change my location, and this fixed the problem. I covered this in another video. Also, after rebooting the device a day later, I haven't seen the issue actually recur, so this was a minor issue. But the one other thing that I'd comment on for the AI features is that while the AI eraser feature was pretty good, I did use it several times and I didn't have any significant issues other than just some artifacts that were left. Some of the other issues, or some of the other AI features, I should say, like the AI unblur feature, I found that it's a little bit less reliable. There were several pictures where the picture was a bit blurry. Using the AI unblur feature, it just didn't really make much of an improvement to the actual picture itself. And with the reflection eraser, several situations were actually tried to remove a reflection. It didn't actually remove the reflection. So I think there's some work to be done for the AI features, but that was not one of the deal breakers for me. The next thing is notifications coming from One UI. I just found that the notifications, it's different. It's not necessarily bad. I do prefer the way notifications are structured on One UI. They're a bit more condensed, whereas you can see the notifications are larger on the Oxygen OS platform. So it's just a different presentation. Because of the way the notifications are laid out, number one, it's a little bit more difficult for me to quickly scroll through and identify all the things that are important. It's just overall more my preference on the look and feel. But the more important thing that I wanted to comment on when it comes to notifications is that there are forums of people saying that they noticed notifications were being missed. And I did experience this. There were things like LinkedIn notifications I was not getting, and notifications from some of my work applications that I was not getting as well. So while I did get notifications for most of my most important apps, pretty seamlessly, there were a few apps where I did not get notifications at times, so I just found the notifications to be less reliable than in One UI in this case. And coming from, again, a Galaxy S23 Ultra, it's really important that the experience is at least matched in terms of notifications, but in this case, I definitely found that the reliability of notifications can vary. The next thing that I wanted to comment on is USB-C video output. Now, this is something that you should know, especially depending on what device that you're coming from. This was not a deal breaker for me. It's not actually something that I really use that much. It's just something that I'd mention. I haven't seen commented in other videos, but just be aware that USB-C video output is not available. So if you're coming from a Galaxy device, for example, where USB-C video out is possible if you wanted to, for example, display what's on your phone with a wired connection to your television or to a monitor, it's going to be difficult to do that. You would need an adapter, and it is possible, but just know that's something that's going to vary coming from another device. Another thing that was an influencer in my decision was the overall audio quality, specifically from Bluetooth earbuds, but also from wired earbuds as well. And there's actually two parts to this. There's another part I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But this actually was something that influenced my decision to return the device. The reason being that when I first connected my Bluetooth earbuds, the first thing that I noticed was that the quality was significantly different from what I was used to with my Galaxy S23. So on my Galaxy S23 Ultra, as soon as I connected my headphones, I was able to get the volume to reach a very loud level that was comfortable, but plenty of volume. Didn't have to make any kinds of adjustments to the settings. When I connected my earbuds to the OnePlus 13, the maximum audio level was extremely low. I was able to go in and fine-tune the settings to match the volume from the device, and this made it so that I could raise the volume, but I found lots of forums of people claiming that, similar to my experience, the overall audio quality over Bluetooth was just simply not as good on the OnePlus 13 as it is on Galaxy devices or other devices. And I'm only mentioning the Galaxy devices in this case because that's where my experience comes from. But this seems to be the case that with OnePlus devices, compared to other devices, including something like a Pixel, that there is a difference in audio quality over Bluetooth. So I'll come back to more issues when it comes to the audio devices, but the next thing I wanted to talk to about was, we're going to skip the delayed notifications because I just talked about that, but this is a forum that does show that other people were having that issue with delayed notifications. But on the subject of audio, I wanted to talk about Dolby Atmos. So Dolby Atmos is something that's available in, again, One UI or with specifically Galaxy devices. So coming from a Galaxy device, I was used to Dolby Atmos being an option, and that does increase the overall audio quality when you're using Bluetooth devices, and you can definitely tell a difference in audio quality as well. So really, the audio quality reduction on the OnePlus device, I found that that was not specifically related to just Dolby Atmos as a single component, because even if you have Dolby Atmos disabled on your Galaxy devices, I still found that the overall audio quality, at least to my ear, sounded better on the Galaxy device, at least in my comparison. But again, that's definitely another factor because Dolby Atmos is going to further increase the quality of sound over Bluetooth, and that's just simply not available on the OnePlus 13. So that alone, not having Dolby Atmos, it was something I knew when I got the device. Not something that would be a deal breaker for me, but just the general quality of Bluetooth audio and testing was not what I had expected it to be. I was able to get it to be pretty close when I fine-tuned the settings, but there was still a difference. Now, this is actually one of the things that may be the biggest influencer of why I'm actually returning my OnePlus 13, and it's something I haven't seen a single person talk about with the OnePlus 13. And in fact, this is not a OnePlus 13 specific issue. You can see here this was reported on a OnePlus Nord, but in my case, I found this issue and I just found this forum afterwards. So this is clearly an issue with OnePlus devices, and that issue is microphone lag. And there's a couple parts to this. This person actually was having the same issue as me. Now, I was testing my device with my OnePlus 13. I used an app that allows you to record vocals when you're doing vocals for a song, for example, and you can actually hear your voice through your headphones to make sure that you're synced up with the audio. So if you're trying to record some vocals just for your own personal enjoyment, then you're going to be able to kind of hear the audio in the background, make sure it matches up. And of course, once you record that audio, you listen to it back and make sure it's in sync with the song that you're, singing or recording to. And what seems to be an issue on OnePlus devices is that there is latency with the microphone. And this is not just specific to one device that you use with OnePlus, any wired earbuds that you have with a microphone built in seem to lag when you're connected to the OnePlus device. And in my case, I had an old pair of, I believe it was Huawei earbuds that have a microphone built in. I connected that in. You can see here this person, I believe, was using Apple branded earbuds, or at least I saw a few people that were using Apple branded earbuds. I saw multiple people reporting the same issue with different brands of wired headphones and earbuds, but the issue seems to be the same regardless of what they're using. The issue is that when you speak into the microphone, there's a delay in the time that the phone is actually receiving the audio. So there is going to be, when you're singing or recording something, it's going to cause issues. And so in my case, when I was trying to match and synchronize with a particular song, because of the delay, it made it impossible to record those vocals. I had to switch back to my Galaxy device. I tested it, and of course, there was no latency there. So this seems to be an issue with just OnePlus devices. Now, I searched forums, and I could not find a solution, at least that would work for me. People were also reporting that there was a delay with the microphone over Bluetooth devices. That's separate. That's not something that I was even testing, so I can't really comment on that. But for me, at least, knowing that usually wired earbuds are going to have a better and more seamless connection anyway, the fact that there was still latency and I can't get it to record in synchronization was something that I would consider to be a deal breaker for me. The next issue is video recording, and this is something that I would say it's definitely an influencer. It's not the absolute deal breaker for me because I do take more pictures than video, and I found that pictures were significantly better than video on the OnePlus 13. Now, this particular device, they're talking about OnePlus 3, at least in the title of this video, but you can see this is from 2016. So this is something that has always been an issue on OnePlus devices, and it still seems to be an issue on the OnePlus 13. When I record video, if I move to the left or the right, even slowly when recording a video, what I find is that the video is very choppy. It's not smooth, but if I'm going forward and back, the Steadicam feature in the camera, basically keeping things from noticing too much movement or putting too much movement in the video, that works fine on the OnePlus 13. I didn't have any issues there. But if I start to tilt to the left or right, if I want to cover things that are around, I find that the video starts to get very choppy. And if you look at video recordings on YouTube of other people doing camera comparisons for the video recording on the OnePlus 13, almost everyone I've seen, you can notice that it starts to get a little bit choppy when you move left and right with video recording. So again, if you're just standing still recording a specific object with video, I personally think the video is pretty good, but as soon as you start moving the camera left and right, it can actually be a bit jarring and can even be a little bit disorienting to watch too much of that motion, whereas with other devices, it doesn't show the choppiness. Another thing that I wanted to mention is the minimum brightness is still pretty bright on the OnePlus 13. Now this is, again, these are all personal preference things. For me personally, coming from the Galaxy device, the S23 Ultra, I often am in situations where I'm around my young daughter, and I don't like the brightness to be very high. I turn it down to the very lowest setting in a dark room, so it's really important that I can lower the brightness to the right level. Now on the OnePlus 13, the minimum brightness is still pretty bright. It can light up a room to a degree still. So what I actually had to do is install a separate app to lower the minimum brightness lower than what the phone will allow. So what that means is that I do have a workaround to lower the brightness beyond what is usually available within the settings on the device. That workaround completely solves the problem for me because I can get it to exactly the brightness that I need it to be at. The only challenge there is that it requires a third-party application, and when I'm using that third-party application, it's going to use extra battery life. So it's not ideal, definitely not a deal breaker since I can work around it, but something I just wanted to comment on. I will comment, there are two more things I didn't mention in the video. I'll go ahead and just mention two final things for awareness. The last two things that I'll mention, so you're aware, was the Android Auto issue that I noticed. In fact, that was something I also made a video on. This was something that I was able to fully resolve through a workaround, so it wasn't something that really was a deciding factor, but I did find it to be inconvenient that I had to enable developer settings, at least in my case, to allow my phone to actually work with Android Auto. So again, you can watch that video that I posted. If you have issues with Android Auto, before I enabled developer settings, I was not able to actually get Android Auto to work. Okay, guys, and there were just two other things that I was going to mention that were minor things that influenced my decision here. There was also something that I noticed as a difference between Galaxy devices with notifications, how you basically get the badges on your apps. And so what you can see here on the main screen is that when you have a notification for a specific app, you get this red circle that indicates you have notifications. The challenge is if you're coming from One UI, you have the ability to have a number value for those badges. So that means if you get two unread notifications in your messaging app, you can see you have two missed notifications. On OnePlus, you are limited. You can only see the red circle for most applications, which means that you won't know how many new unread notifications you have. That may or may not be a big issue for some people. For me, it's definitely inconvenient, not an exact deciding factor, but it was something that I missed from One UI being able to see that numerical value. And finally, the other minor thing that I'll mention is whenever I'm gaming on this device, while the performance is super smooth, and I actually just would comment as well that the screen is fantastic, coming from the S23 Ultra, I actually prefer the screen on the OnePlus 13 personally. So again, this is by no means a criticism of the device as a whole. There's plenty of reasons why I'm sending it back, but I think it's a fantastic device, and it's really frustrating for me to even have to do this because I like so many things about the device. But when I was gaming, I just noticed because of the way the camera bump is shaped, the overall layout on the back of the phone, it's less comfortable to hold in that orientation for gaming or for watching videos because your hand kind of just collides with the camera bump a little bit more than on Samsung devices. The way their camera bumps or those rings are centered, it's a little bit easier to have a more flush feel on the back. So that definitely bothered me. Again, not a deciding factor, but it was something that was a bit inconvenient coming from Galaxy devices. But again, those are the last things that I wanted to mention. I know there's a lot of things I covered in this video, but what I wanted to focus on were things that I haven't heard others talk about with the device. And again, just keep in mind, these are not all things that are unique to the OnePlus 13, but if you're getting the device, and especially for the people coming from, One UI or from Galaxy devices, you should be aware of these issues or differences at minimum from Galaxy devices and other devices. Even if you're coming from a Pixel or any other device, be aware. Let me know what you guys think, if you were aware of any of these different issues or changes coming into the OnePlus 13 versus other devices. Let me know if you're considering getting a OnePlus 13 and what your experience has been. If you do have a OnePlus 13, definitely interested to hear from you. But again, that's it for this video. Everyone, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.